Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we're covering Digimon Adventure 2020, episode 33, The Hikari of Dawn. I'm May, and I'm joined by the lovely Quinn.
Hi!
And of course, as always, the equally lovely Evie.
Hello!
So before we begin, just a bit of housekeeping. So we've got a new recording time for this week's episode, and this is due to my work transitioning back to in-person work. Not next week, but we just thought it'd be good to have a trial run, so things may change depending on how recording times work with everyone, all three of our schedules. Also, because it's it's after 9 p.m. at night, and it's also very hot because it was 37 today, and it's like still 34 degrees. I have the window open and the door open, so you can definitely hear my dog outside. He's being a dog. He'll quieten down soon. I hope he really likes chasing possums. That's just that's like his reason for being. But anyway, the Raw will go out as soon as possible after recording, and the edited episode will be released on Mondays as usual, Australian Mondays as per usual, but likely a little later in the day because I won't have time to edit straight after recording because obviously I have to commute to work rather than just recording and then editing it all together before I start work. But yes, so that's the thing. The release may change, but we'll do our best to keep it, not too much of a difference from where we usually are releasing it. Next order of business, Gleaming Glamour on Twitter pointed out the other angel silhouette that I said the other angel with a keyblade is CLAWWWWW, who I completely forgot that existed, so thank you for pointing that out. He's also in the card game, which is also another thing of the card games sort of like showing Digimon that are going to show up. So that's cool. And lastly, I was going to put this in questions, but I knew I'd forget if I didn't get this out of the way. But we ran a Twitter poll last week, which says, Tailmon is coming soon-ish in Digimon Adventure : which of the following do you predict? The options were Tailmon is Dark Knightmon, Tailmon is Dark Maldramon, Tailmon is Millenniummon, or Tailmon is her own entity. So 4.1% said Tailmon is Millenniummon, and then in third place we had Tailmon is Dark Knightmon at 30.4%, and then we had Tailmon as her own entity in second place, and then in first place Tailmon is Dark Maldramon at 33.1%. And in the end, I guess, it was her own entity that got vored, maybe, I think?
I
still don't
inclined
know.
to believe that it was just a Dark Evo on Tailmon, but I guess it's pretty ambiguous. Maybe we'll find out next week.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been either. It could have been Dark Evo, it could have been another case of DigiVore, but either way, I'm fine with it because it actually still made sense why Hikari was fine with being with Dark Knightmon because she was being called, and that's why she went that way. Yeah. So in the end, I'm fine. It's just fine. So
if I may suggest a title, Ambiguous Vor.
What was my working title? Yes, it's amazing that I came up with this. It's so unique. The Darkness Before the Hikari.
That was pretty good.
But now I realise that it would have been better if it was the Hikari Before Dawn. Because that would have probably been better.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm worried, what if we accidentally get flagged because we are a not explicit podcast, but we mention Vor so much.
There really is not. It is entirely a voluntary system.
Yeah. It's there's just a lot of Digimon eating Digimon, which I'm on board for. But anyway, so that was the poll. Obviously, it would have been pretty cool with Tailmon being Dark Maldramon because
that would have made
armor
a lot more
evolutions
sense.
and all.
Yeah.
Langley has just come inside to bark, to say, hey, everyone, you should come outside and bark with me. It's a great time. So he just got a little bit louder because he's just like, everyone, come outside. You can bark. There's a moon and it's warm and there are possums. It's great. I should stop saying the P word because that's going to set my dog off. But anyway, so a lot of people said that Tailmon could have been a split between Dark Knightmon and Maldramon, her soul is in two bodies, which would have been cool. But anyway, so that was the poll. It's fun to have polls. I guess with all the housekeeping out of the way, we should probably get on to the synopsis.
Yeah.
So the episode starts off with Skull Knightmon holding Moon Millenniummon, and then we see a horde of Vadermon who seem to be worshipping Millenniummon, in a cult.
I'm super here for Millenniummon Death Cult.
Yeah,
How do I sign up?
I'm super here for this. this death cult talking about sacrifice and like the overall creepy atmosphere that just goes on for the whole episode. I'm very much here for that. Like, it's pretty great.
Sign me
It's
up.
a
Like, to be
sinister
honest.
episode.
Yeah, sinister is a good, nefarious, sinister. You know, those kind of creepy words. It's got some good atmosphere with this.
I want the
With
Vadamon
this
to
cult.
give me, like, some literature to take home.
Yeah, so we can join the cult.
Yeah, just some pamphlets. I want to know what
Yeah.
they're selling.
Yeah.
Give
and
me the
we get a
deep
bunch of like,
DigiVore.
yeah, there's definitely some digilore here, which I'm assuming we will get later on. Like, the Vadamon are all talking about this thing called Faga, like Faga,
I kept
which
reading it as
I'm-
FPGA.
FPGA.
Yeah, because they keep trying to do, like, so many bad old computer puns. Like, I'm a little shocked we have not heard them refer to the SCSI domain, which is still a thing that is canon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I wish that the SCSI domain were involved.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but I'm very much on board for this, like, random cult that shows up.
Yeah,
like,
I just googled fagger. It's a term
is it something?
commonly used to describe the main big tech companies: Facebook, Apple, Google, Amazon.
oh my gosh, is Millennium on Google?
Millennium on is just
Millennium on,
fake
like,
news. Oh my god.
oh my gosh.
The joke
oh my
I've been
God, I
making
made
has
it.
been right.
Thank you so much for Googling that. I mean, I feel like I'm
I
surprised
did
I didn't
Google
Google
it,
I just
and it
went to
still
Digimon.
didn't
Oh,
come
well,
up for me. So thank
That's
you.
like the top definition on Urban Dictionary, so it could be wrong.
No,
But
I'm
hope
Kind
on
of makes
board with
sense,
this.
though. I'm sure there will be something else, but that feels like a pretty explicit reference.
Oh, that just
That's
so,
real dope.
like in Atmon, the AI with the baddies. So now it's just various tech companies. I'm so
Yeah,
on
what
board
if the
with this.
baddies were the
I'm just
baddies?
like, this is actually like makes the episode like more exciting just because that's like kind of cool that like Millenniumon is just
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna
big
spoil
fan.
this. People on Discord were a little disappointed in this episode, and I gotta say I did not hate it.
Yeah, I did not hate it either. Like I was like, oh, I really like this episode, and I saw people saying they didn't like this episode, and I was like, oh no.
More
I don't wanna be- I
Digilore,
don't-
less Digivore. I think that needs to be the rallying cry going forward.
Yeah, like, I'm okay with, like, if they can just give me, like, they don't have to, like, give me all of the lore all at once. If they give me, like, bits, like, little nibbles of lore every episode, like, you know, something like, foreshadowing.
Well, and in
I would
retrospect,
love
they
that. Like,
have
give
been
me
trying
that.
to do that. They just have been doing it really badly. Because we have called most of the things they're doing and then said, yeah, but they're executing this show so poorly, I don't think they'll be that clever. And it turns out, at least they storyboarded well enough to make some things clever.
They're doing it.
They're just not doing a
Atmon,
great
where-
job of executing on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it could definitely be better. Like, Atmon was a lot better, but a lot of the time in Atmon, I would have theories and, like, oh, it sounds like this could happen, but, like, that sounds good, and then it ended up happening. So I'm all for if this show just, like, from, like, last episode, like, the turning point where it just is all good, I'm, like... I think this season can become one of my favourites still. Like, I feel like all hope is not lost because we're only just at the halfway point. I feel like we can go in a really good direction, and then just when people want to watch this show, we just say, hey, it's okay, you can just watch these episodes and just skip a whole bunch in the middle. Devimon doesn't even matter because the majority of the cast weren't even there.
Yeah,
I will
spoilers.
Spoilers, I like this episode.
Yeah, I will definitely see, like, making an important episode list at the end of this and just turning this into a 24-episode show. And I think it'll be pretty good by that standard. If you take the non-filler ones, it averages out pretty well.
And also, I've heard people who have just gotten up to, like, basically just binged, like, the first, like, 30 episodes, and they liked it more because it's just a lot nicer when you're not waiting. Like, it's not really nice to wait a week for something that's just okay, but if you're binging it, you don't really, like, all the episodes kind of merge in together, so maybe that it's meant to be watched binged, and it's not meant to be watched week to week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see that. But anyway, on to the rest of the episode. Millenniumon is going to have a resurrection and a new body or something. And then Hikari is watching on with her little dead eyes.
Yeah. I will say that is a real issue here, and I assume that they'll fix it going forward like they did for Takaru, but the lack of a personality, I guess, until you meet your Digimon, maybe, is still pretty annoying.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but I'm glad that she became a character. I mean, you could just say that she was being called to, and she was just distracted by that. And also Takeru was being called.
Yeah, I mean, I
was
think
also
that's what
being
we're supposed to
distracted.
take from that. I will say that then we also explicitly said, by the way, she's just always been like this. So I think we're kind of halfway doing it. We're just not doing it as cool as we would have done with homeostasis.
Well, if Tailmon was always calling to her, and because I guess we're jumping ahead, but I think Tailmon still has her memories. Like, she says she's a holy Digimon. Like, we had Angemon who knew who he was, but then he died, losing his memories. And now he's Patamon who has no memories. So I think Tailmon just has her memories. So maybe she's always been calling for her, because, you know, since the that Great War, which may have happened, like, just when Hikari was born, maybe she has been calling for her. I'm not going to rule out just yet that Hikari hasn't just been possessed with homeostasis the entire time. Like, I would like that.
I mean, I think we are going with, yes, she didn't get to develop a personality because lack of Tailmon, maybe something Tailmon in trouble the whole time, but I don't think we're invoking homeostasis at this point.
I mean, like, I'd be happy if we don't go down homeostasis avenue with maybe Yggdrasil as well, because like, that is, we've already seen that.
Yeah, I would definitely be
like
happier if
different.
neither of those existed, or if one of them existed but it was good. But ideally
just,
not
like,
both.
I don't think Yggdrasil has ever been done particularly well in anything that's not Digimon Next. Like, I think it was really good in Digimon Next, and then never, like, it was okay in Sabers, but then never again. Like, I'd be happy if I never see the words Yggdrasil ever again. Also, there's no Geni. So there's no Geni, there's no homeostasis, there's no Yggdrasil. So I'm here for that. I'm here for it being different.
Yeah.
We have Koshiro keeping us and the Chosen Children updated with the ISS. Nothing's really changed. We have Joe and Gomamon stand up, and we have Gomamon
If I can
censoring...
back up for a second, we basically did
Oh, yeah?
foreshadow Koshiro's next big thing, which is we're gonna fire the Soyuz that's docked to the ISS to get it out of the path of the fucking the satellites. That is so wild to me. I can't believe we're doing that.
Yeah,
he's gonna hack
feels a little
NASA.
It feels more exciting than the boat plot.
It does. It's a much more concrete and interesting idea, and space is cool in a way that thousands of boats are kind of not. Especially not when it's exactly the same as one boat but bigger. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so we have Gomamon censoring Joe's privates, which is kind of great, and Blossomon wants them to stay, and then Gomamon's like, well, they must all really like you. And I'm just like, I'm so happy for Joe. He's found, like, so many people, well, so many Digimon who like him, and that's just really nice. Meanwhile, we have Mimi just being celebrated, as she absolutely should be. I just really appreciate this. We don't know if she's been gambling. She's having this gambling ring to get the gems.
Well, so I think they already had a gambling ring, and Togemon won.
Yeah, which means that not only does she have lots of gems, she has even more gems.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think Mimi just accidentally gathered an army, and I'm very here for this.
Oh, I'm so here for Mimi having an army. She had an army in the original. It was great, but we didn't get enough attention.
No,
but
we need
she
General
definitely
Mimi.
should have an army.
God, not Queen Mimi. General Mimi. I want it.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of people not be happy that once again we have Mimi, Joe, and Koshiro not really being involved in the plot. But I'm just like, at least now we get to see them having adventures, even if it's only for like a minute in each episode. I don't mind that. And also, this time Yamato's also just riding Garurumon through a desert. Like, we don't even have anything interesting coming from Yamato.
That's true.
Which is fine.
I wish that they would split it up over either into A and B plot or A and B episodes, because I do wish that we were doing anything with these characters, because God, it's been a long time of separation arcs to get rid of the characters we don't care about.
Like,
we have four people we care about a lot, and yeah.
Well, I mean, I would just be very happy just for a filler episode that's just, we get one with Mimi, with her gambling ring/gang that she's forming, and another one with just Joe making friends at this onsen. Like, it doesn't have to have any, Digimon fights. Well, I guess with Mimi's it kind of has to, because it's a gambling, fighting fight. She's formed Fight Club. But it could just be nice just to see them have slice of life, like, just a little bit of filler. Like, I feel like that could be really enjoyable. But overall, like, I don't mind it too much because at least Sora is involved somewhat in the plot. Somewhat. So at least there's that.
I mean, she's there.
Yeah, she's there. Like, she says, like, 2 words and most of them, well, her first word is Biomon, her second word is Birdramon. So
Yeah.
she still doesn't talk much.
I think Garudamon's
which-
been more involved than Sora.
Which I'm 100% here for, to be honest. Like, Garudamon is just a beast. She's like this powerhouse. Like, I'm very much here for it. Like, I'm glad that...
But I wish either of them had dialogue, like, ever.
Oh, yes, that'd be great. Like, I don't think Biomon speaks.
Pretty much at all, no.
Like, something I liked in the original, and I know we shouldn't compare, like, the original that much to this, but something I appreciate in the original, well, in the Japanese version, it was kind of removed in the English dub, but Biomon and Sora didn't really get on at first because Biomon was really affectionate and Sora was kind of not. And that was kind of a nice dynamic, but we don't really have it this time at all, really. But it's fine. Maybe we'll do something better. I don't think so, but we could. Anyway, we then see a horde of Kukuamon, who, by the way, another fantastic Digimon that I absolutely adore. We've seen them in the anime before, but it's just always really nice to see them. I just love them. They're like little tasers, bugs, things. I like them. So they appear to be escaping something, and it's more black lightning. Taichi sees the dark Maeldramon flying overhead, and then they all arrive at this huge canyon or like a meteor impact site or something, like this big area. I think it's a meteor impact. I don't know. Big bit of ground. It's like a football oval. I don't know. So they all come together, and then more crystals emerge from the ground, and this is something I noticed, it's very sudden, the animation quality and art style improves just so much. Just at this point. Like, for the rest of the episode, well, it kind of goes in and out, but from this point, it all of a sudden, the budget just goes way up.
Yeah.
Like, there's lighting, there's shadows, there's, like, dynamic-looking facial expressions. It's just very much like they just turned it up to 11 from, like, 3. So I'm just like, whoa, hello, hello
Where
budget.
they choose to spend their money is so weird to me. Clearly I'm supposed to think this is a really awesome episode, and it was only okay. It was fine. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
on a moment-to-moment basis, a lot of this could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
For instance,
Sora
just most of the
Continue.
characters getting to talk would have been nice. Anyway, I will let
Yeah.
you two talk.
Yeah, that's alright. You can talk if you want, it's okay.
I'm just being awkward now. You good?
I'm sorry. So, Sora recognizes this as being like from Lotmon's memory, and then Taichi calls out to Hikari, and Hikari is just standing in Skull Knightmon's hand, and has a different emotion that we've previously seen. Like, she looks pretty content, and later on, she smiles?
Yeah.
Like, it's so... like... And the fact that she smiled or looks content and not just, like, dead-eyed makes me, like... Well, I guess I know what happens now, but when I was watching this, it made me more and more excited. I'm like, oh, there's something going to happen because, like,
I
they
was
have
so
drawn
hoping
her with
Hikari
emotions.
would just be evil, but, no.
Like, there was some emotions. It was great. It was honestly surprising. I was fairly nervous going into this episode because...
You know what would have been nice?
Last episode was... Yep.
If Hikari had actually been tempted to be Millennium Mon's partner.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I was just really happy that this wasn't as terrible, like, as I thought. I had such low expectations going in. Like, I was like, oh, this last episode was too good. This one, it can't be good. But I liked spoilers. I liked it. Anyway, so Hikari's standing in Skull Knightmon's hand, and then Skull Knightmon Hikari glow, and Vadamon is saying that Hikari must fulfill her duty as a plot device, and Hikari is just smiling, and it's just, alright, great, cool, we're doing something with this character finally. The Vadamon continues to say, and I just want to point out that the Vadamon who's talking honestly should have been like Vadamon's evolution, Ebemon or something. Just because it's so weird, like, it's just a Vadamon talking and a bunch of Vadamon.
Yeah,
But anyway,
something
it's fine.
would have been... Anyway,
Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah, the
I'm not going to
Vilemon
tell
were
this
weird
cult
too.
how to rerun.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Vadamon continues to say that Hikari and Skull Knightmon are sacrifices, and Skull Knightmon then evolves to Dark Knightmon, and then Patamon says that Hikari is resonating with Dark Knightmon, and then Agumon says that he and Taichi should save Hikari, which is just a revolutionary idea, and then Agumon evolves to Greymon. But then Dark Maildramon attacks, but Birdramon comes to save them, which is just what she does now, which is great. And I like to point out that we're getting very quick evolution sequences in this episode, which I always get very excited by. Like, oh, good, we're doing it. We're skipping evolutions today. We have actual things to show the audience, so that's a positive. Then we have Birdramon and Dark Maildramon fighting, and then Dark Knightmon summons hordes of Evilmon. Patamon evolves to Pegasusmon and fights them, and we get some really cool, like, team action work going, and it's just, I really liked it. I don't know why I liked it so much. It was just really cool. Like, the battles were pretty dynamic, and there wasn't too much tactics, and also the Chosen were still riding on top of their Digimon, which looks very dangerous, and Taichi should well and truly be dead. Takeru should be very dizzy.
Taichi in particular
it's fine.
falls hundreds of feet and isn't even caught. He just is on the ground looking determined.
Yeah. I mean, you could. Oh, at one point he falls and looks defeated, so at least there's some.
Having your
different
bones
emotion.
liquefied fills you with determination.
Yeah, you are filled with determination. But honestly, I think that it might just be digital world weirdness that, like, when you fall hundreds of feet, maybe it's only like you fall.
I
like,
think
slightly to the
that
side.
is way too generous.
Oh, it's very generous, but it's the only thing. Like, otherwise, I'm just going to complain forever about, like, how the character should be dead all the time, and they should. But if we say digital world weirdness makes, 100 meters more like 1 meter, then it's like, okay, he tripped. He didn't really fall to his death so much as he's tripped to an inconvenience. I don't know.
I'm still just... I'm subscribed to the Digivice protection field theory I came up with ages ago still.
Oh yeah, I like that theory so much.
Just the Digivice does everything.
Here on Lost in Translation, we do a lot of rationalization.
Yeah, I mean, we did see a random pink orb later on in the episode.
Yep.
We have Tailmon, but Hikari doesn't have a Digivice yet. I think the Digivice only shows up when you evolve for the first time.
Yeah, at a minimum, they have yet to hold hands or whatever.
Yeah, they need to hold hands and then have some magic. I don't know. But there's definitely some protection that Tailmon did have. So that might be the crest, like, inside, because her crest did activate.
Oh.
So you could say that the crest gives you plot armor.
And
the crest
don't
is
know
inside.
that we're doing crests, really.
Yeah.
We're doing the symbols, at least.
Yeah.
So I'm just calling the symbols the crests for, like,
It's fair,
easy
so far they have not
understanding.
appeared to be a thing you can draw power from or
no.
whatever.
No, they're not physical things, but they are, like, things. They're symbols. They're not, like, physical things, though. But they exist, but they don't exist. There we are. Perfect.
Good job,
Nailed
Air.
it.
You're very unambiguous with that.
I did it. Well, with all that up in the air, we will continue.
And
So
I was
also
going to say,
Yep.
I would probably guess that Tailmon was kept alive by a holy ring more than any power of a crest.
Well, she was the Holy Ring.
Exactly.
Like, she looked, yeah, so I can see that. But, yeah, I don't mind. I'm willing to give this episode a lot of slack for not being terrible, because I was so worried it was going to be terrible. I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this episode. Last episode was so good. They can't do another not terrible one. It's just going to be terrible because we're introducing Hikari and she doesn't have a character. But anyway, I guess we'll get onto that more later on. So Takeru looks pretty cool because he's like a chosen now and he's all like ready to fight. It's kind of cool. Meanwhile, we have Hikari starting to fall in some darkness portal. Taichi reaches out to her, but she just smiles. It's really creepy.
It's so
And then she
creepy.
says something inaudible. It's so creepy. And then she just sinks into the portal.
I was so hoping Hikari was just joining the dark side. Like, I was gonna be like, I was so stoked if Hikari was just like, yeah, I want to be Millenniumon's partner.
Yeah, I was hoping for that. Like, I know I would never do something like... I don't think Digimon would ever do something like that, but it'd be so nice
I really
to have, like...
want the reverse of Ken. I want someone who starts off as a chosen child who decides, nah, screw the digital world. I guess I want...
Yeah, they have, like, a heel turn.
Yeah, I guess I want Maki, but young.
Yeah. I'd like that. I mean, I wish they didn't just abandon the Maki storyline.
Yeah,
Completely.
me too.
Completely.
Like, entirely.
Have you seen Kazuna yet?
No, I've been waiting until we're going to cover it for the show, which I
don't know when it's coming out in the UK.
I mean,
I don't think it is.
That's annoying, but we'll discuss it at some point.
Okay. Yeah, maybe
when-
I'll just send Evie a copy or something.
We could always just stream it.
Also an option. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, so, yeah, we have Taichi and Greymon falling, looking completely depressed and defeated. And I know that they're falling to their deaths, and they should be, but I just want to ignore that fact. We've already discussed that Taichi should be dead. We'll just say it's magic, Digivice power, or something that caused him not to die. I just really love this scene, because I know it's just such a cheap shot, but they're just falling, and they look so defeated and sad. And it's just, it feels very, very meaningful. This whole scene is just, and the whole atmosphere for the episode is just so, like, creepy and sad, because, you know, Taichi can't save his sister.
I could have had Taichi be in a little more despair.
Yeah.
Not to go full Danganronpa here, but...
I mean, he did look defeated, like...
It's true.
More defeated than, like, you know, his mother, who, again, is enjoying her life without children because she never had them, because she doesn't remember them, because they weren't there, and she only knows that things exist when they're directly in front of her.
I will say there's a lot of cognitive dissonance about Taichi just suddenly caring about his sister again.
Yeah, well... I like things to care about things, so I'm more for, I don't know, I'm all for characters caring, and I hope we see more of that. I'm very much on board with the look of defeat that Taichi has, and yeah, again, he should have fell to his death, but he didn't, but that's fine, because Digivice magic, whatever. So... It's pretty cool. Anyway, I just want to point out how many times in my notes I've just said the whole atmosphere of this episode is so creepy and fantastic, because it is. I love how there's a death cult. I love the creepy eeriness of the area. I love the darkness. I love the big glowing, ominous gem thing with Millenniummon. I love that. I love Inside Dark Knightmon. I love, like, the purple LCL. I don't know what's going on there. Hikari getting the Dark Knightmon or something. I don't know. Right, there's a lot going on.
I am hopeful that was just an alternate Evo, and I am inclined to believe that on the basis of the weird glowiness that then resolved into, you know, reality when that became a permanent path change, which is a theme we've seen several times.
And we also saw, like, Millenniummon being part of the goop. Like, he was inside the Dark Knightmon too. So
that's true.
It could be just sort of...
I assume some sort of infection was involved. Yeah, maybe it was a Millenniummon thing. I do want to know if it was an alternate Evo. Like, how aware was Tailmon of things? And I really hope we get some exposition on that next week.
I hope so too. I mean, what I think is that the reason why we only had Tailmon as being, like, a yellow form was because... And she only became, like, the full Tailmon form once Skull Knightmon was defeated, because she was Skull Knightmon. Like, that was only her soul at that point, but once Skull Knightmon was actually defeated, she could be her full form, if that makes sense. Like, it's not just
something
her soul.
Like that. In any event, yeah.
So in that way, it could be just... she wasn't just in prison, she was actually Dark Knightmon. And I'm still on board, like, she was Dark Knightmon. I hope that the show does something with how did she get there, what happened, was she aware of that time? She says that she was calling for Hikari the entire time, so I want to assume that she was somewhat conscious in the same way that Angelmon was conscious.
I will say,
paralysis?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say, and maybe if the show decides to be better than it really has any right for me to expect it to be, will retroactively do something with the relationship with Devimon, even though he's dead, now that we have finally united the entire cast. Kind of, but they're still not all in a room together. Well,
they're able to communicate pretty easily, at least, and at least Mimi's living her best life, so I'm fine with this. But also, I'm easily pleased by Digimon. Anyway, so Taichi says there's no time to think, and then Greymon evolves to Metal Greymon, and meanwhile, inside Dark Knightmon, Hikari sees a light, and then we have Metal Greymon and Dark Knightmon fighting as Birdramon evolves to Garudamon to fight Dark Meldramon and just straight up obliterates him. So if you had any last wishes that Dark Meldramon was Tailmon, this moment kind of just obliterates that along with Dark Meldramon, because he just super dies. And
super died.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
I would also have been. I was really curious because I took a screenshot of what turned out to just be the Holy Ring, but that I was really hoping was going to turn out to be like a Digimental of Miracles or whatever.
That'd have been
that
cool.
did not happen.
And then that's why. And then that is why Dark Meldromon was there. Because it would have been just a nice little thing, but I'm not... I mean, it seems too out there for Digimon. Like, it seems like, Dark Evolution, but also Armor Evolution. But also last episode showed us that whatever. We can have whatever. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
New season. Whatever. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
I
people, by the
definitely
way,
feel
are
like...
mad that Pegasusmon showed up without the Digimentals and said, but they only had the Digimentals because of the Dark Spies. And then, of course, we have the WonderSwan games before the Dark Spies existed, where we also had Digimentals, but they also can evolve without Digimentals in other pieces.
I think we are not going on MacGuffin quests this year, and it's great. But I am a little surprised the Digimental didn't just sort of resolve into existing. But I'm pretty fine.
I mean, I'm fine with...
if the queer was inside them all the time.
That is good. I'm fine without, like, collectathons. Like, without, like, we need to get this magical thing to evolve. At least we're not going that trope heavy. We're not going to have, like, okay, you can evolve, but you need this thing, and then you need to activate the thing.
Here's the thing,
with it just
however.
Sort of happening.
The thing about those collectathons is it gave the allegedly less important characters screen time. So, there is a thing that we are missing out on as a result of that, which is Mimi getting to do anything.
Oh yeah, I am happy with what we have Mimi doing at the moment, though. Like, I would like to see more of it.
Yeah, like I need an actual episode where that turns into a plot. You know what I mean? And I've been holding my breath for that for a bit now.
Yeah, but anyway, what can you do? So we have Pegasusmon fighting the Vilemon Horde. And then we have Metal Greymon becoming Ultras Mode, which I'm really happy and surprised we didn't just forget Ultras Mode existed. I'm fine. Anyway,
I still think the sword is dumb.
Yep. Yeah,
It
I
kinda
like
is.
it. I'm fine.
Metal
He's dumb,
Greymon's
but I
big
like
and
it.
slow. Why have you given him an agile sword?
I think it's like a sword gun, isn't it?
It is.
Still.
Which is also not, like, the best thing anyone's ever come up with. Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah. But, so we have Hikari inside Dark Knightmon, and she's speaking to the light and asks if that's what's calling to her, and then she gets surrounded by, like, purple goop, LCL, something. Then we have beams of light shooting from the ground, and Taichi thinks there must be a reason Hikari didn't take his hand, and I'm just like, this Taichi is very,
that Hikari's skin is glowy here, by the way.
Yeah, there's a...
It's kind of neat, to be honest.
Also, when we did have the goop showing up, for some reason, I was reminded of the Divamon in the cave.
Yeah, a little bit.
In 02. And I'm just like, we weren't doing that, but, like, it would have been cool if all of a sudden we were doing the Divamon wanting her to be the queen, which is disturbing, but
no,
rightfully so.
Cool.
We're going to the Dark Ocean next episode, apparently.
I hope so. We're going into An Ocean.
I didn't see the next time on. Oops.
Oh, the next time on makes me like, next episode will look good at the very least.
Okay.
And
there's
Hikari
Digimon
may say something.
And Daipenmon shows up, more importantly, next episode. That's the penguin with the ice creams on both his hands, by the way, if anyone forgot. That's the hybrid warrior of ice. I love him. I have a lot of feelings for Digimon randomly showing up from other seasons. It's great. Anyway, so we have Dark Knightmon appears to be dying, and Taichi charges forward, while Hikari walks towards the light, and then we get more dialogue than we've ever had from Hikari, and it's so nice to hear her speak. Like, all of a sudden, they flipped the switch of, like, no character to character, and all of a sudden she's just talking so much.
Yeah, they finally remembered to pay the character bill.
They're like, oh, she can talk. Oh, we probably should give her lines then, eh? So yeah, they gave her lines. I appreciate it. Hikari sees the holy ring, and then that becomes sort of a Tailmon spirit ghost thing. And then we see Hikari's crest, like as in the symbol, as she and Tailmon join hands, because apparently hand-holding is the true magic in Digimon.
Well, that sounds
fine.
about right.
Like it.
That's, appropriately queer.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm here for it. Then Tailmon's form slightly fills out. She has a bit more detail. And then some dark creatures from, like, the goop just show up. I think they're just Millenniumon heads. And Hikari grabs Tailmon, and looks really cool doing so, by the way, and just runs and calls out for Taichi. Then Metal Greymon evolves to War Greymon, and the animation looks suddenly very nice. And War Greymon just pierces through Dark Knightmon and attacks the dark entities that are after Hikari. And I'm very much here for that. Like, the whole thing looked very nice. Like, I'm also just mainly here for, like, Hikari doing something and being actually a character, like, more than just a plot device. Like, when she picks up Tailmon, I was like, oh, that looked cool. Like, they let Hikari do something. Like, I'm very much like, let's applaud. Good job, Digimon, for letting your character do something that's not just a plot device. I'm here for that. Then, after the battle, Taichi says that he told Hikari not to wander off, and then they join hands. Again, hand-holding the true magic that binds the chosen children, or something. And then Hikari finally gets a character, so that's great. The gem stops glowing, and Vadermon all groan, and it's like, it is so, like, creepily hilarious. It's like, oh, like, it's just, oh no.
We'll
so creepy.
try again
like,
next week, I guess.
Yeah, Millenniumon's like, don't worry, you can, like, wait until the next opportunity, and then all the Vadermon like, yes, next opportunity. And is it not just, like, a creepy version of the aliens from Toy Story in the claw machine?
The claw is our
like,
master.
oh,
Yeah.
that claw.
Yeah.
Like, it's just 100% just the aliens from Toy Story. Like, now I'm starting to think, is that on purpose? I only just thought of it just then, but it just, is that on purpose? I don't know. Maybe next episode it'll be on porpoise. Get it? Because we're going to the ocean. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. It's 10 p.m. These are pun hours. As per the Chisai animated adventure of the podcast from many years ago, it's almost 9 o'clock. Throwback. Anyway, so there's either a Toy Story reference or something that reminds me of Toy Story that happens, and then Taichi, Agumon, Hikari, and Tailmon float down in the pink orb, and Tailmon and Patamon reunite, and then Tailmon says how she's been waiting a long time for Hikari and says she's a holy Digimon, and I guess she just has her memories. I hope we're not going to just randomly kill her like we did with Angemon. Like, it'd be good if we got one character
so I
to
think,
just keep her memories.
Well, I think that's the thing, is it turns out Patamon was not the holy Digimon. And so I think Tailmon is the only one who has all the memories and powers intact or whatever, and junk. The only one who hasn't actually died since the original war.
Yeah.
I think Gaomon, Tailmon, whatever, will still be weakened, because, like, they're not at Mega.
Oh, yeah,
already.
no, right, but as the only one who didn't die and lose memories, I think that will be, a plot device.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I'm kind of like, yeah, but also, will she be able to evolve? Because she has her memories. Because I think that she should be able to, I thought.
Yeah, I'm assuming that Hikari will be unlocking the next MacGuffin.
Yeah, like, we already know she's originally a Phanimon, but maybe Hikari unlocks Magnadramon or Holydramon, depending on what version.
Yeah, I would expect us to do something like that, and Hikari to be the key to good alternate evolutions.
Which is just like, I'm definitely here for Digimon having split evolution paths.
Oh god.
Especially because I love Holydramon, but I also think that a Phanimon is also fine.
Alright, so if Dark Evos are made by, basically just having, giant corporations make fake news, are we going to do open source software as being the source of all good things in the universe? Because, I'm not complaining if that's so, but...
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Like, evolutions, let's do something. I don't know. Anyway, so we get the encyclopedia, and we're introduced to Pegasusmon, and then we have another great moment from Koshiro where he says that Pegasusmon looks very cool, but when he said that, Kabuterimon went all quiet, and he doesn't understand why. And I'm just like, I love the Digimon encyclopedia every week. Like, it's always just like, Koshiro saying something weird, or Koshiro saying something nice, and then Kabuterimon getting jealous. And it's always Kabuterimon that gets jealous, it's not Tentomon. It's, I guess because he is Kabuterimon at the moment in the show, which kind of makes sense. But I don't know, I'm here for this Digimon encyclopedia.
I like the idea that just in the background of all the fights, this is just the conversations he's having.
Oh, absolutely.
Huh, I should ask about the cushion next time.
Wait, what if Koshiro's doing the Digimon analyzer for Willis?
Ooh.
No, Willis. I think he's just doing it for fun, like, in between updating the group about the ISS. Like, nothing is changing, so let's talk about the Digimon that's shown up.
I can't believe we're going to hack a Soyuz. I'm sorry, I'm coming back to that.
I want to believe that this is like happening in real time. Like the
That's
battle
what I'm
just
saying.
ended.
I
And
love
then,
the idea that he's just been sitting there in the background, just thinking up snarky things to say during the analyzer.
I love that so much. Like, I don't know. I can't believe how long we talk about the analyzer each episode, but it deserves it, honestly. Like, it's just, it's always so
If the
cute.
entire show could be as snappy as the analyzer, it would be the best season of Digimon.
Alright, now we've discussed the synopsis, let's discuss the discussion. What were our highlights this week?
Things happened.
Yeah, things happened. Hikari had a character and seemed to be a character, be somebody, which is the same way Takeru was not a character until he met Patamon. So I'm fine. She has a character now. Whatever. I'm easily pleased.
It's not great, but you know, I'll take having a character now and even pretend that they planned this.
Yeah, it's still not like she had a character all along, or you know, there was a lot of like we care about Hikari because she had a character, but I sure care about her a little bit more now. Like, yeah. I'm just like, hey, there's a character. And also, I love Tailmon. I love her voice. I love her, just the way she's so polite. And I'm just very happy that she has her memories. We didn't just go, oh, I don't have my memories because I was in prison for so long. Nope, she just has her memories. She can probably evolve all the way to a Fanimon because she can. That'd be great. And also, that means that she's not too far behind the other Chosen.
Yeah.
Like, if she can just evolve, it just, thumbs up. Well done, Digimon. Please continue to have characters. And obviously, my other highlight besides, hey, Hikari, she's a character, was the atmosphere of this episode was just so wonderfully creepy. And, like, I'm all here for, like, the death cult with the Vadermon. It was so nice to see that, like, Millenniumon just has a cult, as he should. He's a big bad. I don't know.
Not?
And I like, yeah, like, everyone should have a death cult of their own filled with aliens with their brains visible. I don't know. It's great. But no, I also really like the fact that we're not going straight into, all right, let's fight Millenniumon.
And I will even give them that I appreciate that they explicitly told me that Millenniumon's arc is not done. I do wish it had not been, okay, go home, we'll overthrow the government next week, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like, so it also allows us to have a bit of breathing space, I think. The fact that, like, we're waiting for next time, which, you know,
I'm
could
hoping
be, like,
that
10
means
episodes.
we're gonna, maybe get some Mimi and Joe getting to be characters. Maybe Leomon will stop being dead for a minute.
I think Leomon's dead. He went into a vortex.
He did go into a vortex, but then we said how we're sure we're gonna see him again, and that's pretty ham-fisted foreshadowing to never see him again. So, if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna laugh about it a lot at the end of the season.
I'm just,
I had a thought.
I don't know, I suddenly have a little bit of hope.
It's definitely not as good as last week. It could have been better.
No.
I legitimately laughed out loud when Taichi, you know, cared so much about his sister, but only when he can literally see her in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just happy we get, like...
Oh yeah, no, like, it's an improvement.
I hope that since we're kind of just putting Millenniumon in the freezer for a bit, I hope we get we now say, okay, now we can have the other characters get a bit of a focus, and then possibly maybe they get an evolution arc, or at least the start of one. Like, we do still have to get a lot of characters to ultimate level. Like,
I was gonna say,
as I say every week, I'm just mega level, because that one's a unique term.
As the only new content in terms of evolutions for those characters, I would expect them to get some actual arcs for that evolution, as opposed to just perfunctorily happening.
Yeah.
But, you know,
and, like, I just
that's again, I'm just
Rosemon
going to reserve the right
an
to be mad when that doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, I don't expect that happening, but I'm still going to be upset that it doesn't happen. Like, everyone should have an arc. We have enough episodes to give us one character arc per character.
Or even,
but
like, 3. But we ain't ready for that conversation.
Yeah. Any other highlights?
Pegasusmon reappeared again.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense than, like, Wargreymon immediately appearing the next episode.
Yeah, but at least we went gradually up to Wargreymon, and it was sort of...
It was fine.
He had to have, like, he did still have an emotion, Like, we didn't get Wargreymon last episode, but we got him this episode, and only because he was like, he heard Hikari calling out for him. So that's kind of like, I think we are doing something special with the evolutions to Ultimate, like, well, to Mega. I should really start training myself to say Mega. It goes perfect and then Mega, because that one, at least...
It goes Ultimate and then
is
Mega.
Also Ultimate. Yeah, he goes perfect then Mega, because then there are unique terms. But yeah, he just goes perfect to Mega when emotions happen in special situations, and it's always like a finishing move rather than a big battle that you can just hang out as your fully evolved form. So I'm definitely here for that. Also, yeah, I was also happy to see Pegasusmon again. I don't know why I was surprised to see Pegasusmon again. Maybe it's because in the original adventure, like, we only had Patamon evolving to Angemon about 3 times.
Well, and I think we're
Like,
still going to only get Angemon about 3 times. I assume Angemon will be back before the end of the season, at least once.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we get,
but...
like, he unlocks his memories properly, and then, like, or he realizes that the power to evolve to Angemon was there all along.
Yeah.
But an interesting note, and I almost forgot to say this, but we have Pegasusmon classified as like a question mark level.
Yeah, that was
But on
neat.
the Digivice toys, it's marked as an armor level, and interestingly, Pegasusmon is actually stronger than Angemon.
Which
and
makes
the
sense.
way you have to unlock him is really, like, you have to go back to an area and lose against like Skull Knightmon and Dark Knightmon until you
neat.
unlock him, but you have to already have Angemon unlocked. It's really like
That makes a lot of
obscure.
sense.
Like,
that's cool.
First of all, I tried to unlock him with just Patamon without Angemon unlocked. But then when I couldn't unlock it, so I just went back, grinded until I unlocked Angemon, and then I checked and I had Pegasusmon unlocked. So yeah, that's a whole thing.
Neat.
But yeah, so he's an armor classification, but in the Digivice, not in the show. Or at least not yet.
Yeah,
But,
I think my impression is that the show has just not introduced the term armor level, and we're going to wait until probably next week when we get some exposition dump.
Yeah, I hope it's good exposition. I hope it's not just like what we already know plus something plus boring fight, which is a lot of Digimon.
I'm expecting something Holy Digimon, something Power of Evolution.
Yeah, yeah. Which is, I'm really looking forward to. I saw some. The next time on got me really excited because we're just looking at some more new Digimon that showed up on the Pendulum Z. So I'm
So
very
is
much here for
Tailmon the
this.
digital enchilada?
Yes, she is the digital enchilada. She is also white and purple.
Yeah, just throwing that out there.
She does look a lot like Calumon.
It's true.
A lot, actually. Which is, yeah, exactly like Calumon.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Maybe that's the thing. Want to move on to lowlights?
Sure.
Yeah.
My lowlight is just like, it would have been nice for Hikari to have a character beforehand, but that's not really a lowlight of this episode. I actually can't think of any lowlights for this episode. I thought it was not as good as last week's, but it still didn't have anything that was like something I can complain about. I mean, obviously we have the random plot armor, which again, not unique to this episode, and also it can be easily explained away with like, it's Digivice magic. So yeah, do y'all have lowlights? Please tell me, because I do not have any lowlights.
I kind of do.
Oh yeah?
So, the more series as a whole one that leads up to this is that as we suddenly have these characters care about each other a little bit, it sure highlights the fact that they didn't until now.
Yeah.
And so that's an issue. About half of the characters still don't get lines. I mean, of our 8 major characters, we had 3 of them not present at all. Sora got like 2 lines. Takaru was technically there. So we had 2 people getting to do anything interesting. And I really think that Digimon can be better than that.
Oh yeah, Digimon can... I mean, what I'd like is that we get some episodes that were better than last week, and then we actually do have to go back and adjust our rating.
Yeah.
Like...
You know what would have been cool?
I want that.
If Angemon
But
or Patamon something had been in any way important to collecting the Holy Digimon.
Yeah. But again, like, that's not anything really unique with this episode, though.
It's not. So I guess going with this
it is
episode,
because of
the
this
animation
episode.
quality was really inconsistent. It's an improvement, but it's not great. And I wish that we had any idea what the purple LCL is about.
I think it was just...
I mean, I know it's generically
maybe.
evil, but it's also the thing that caused mutations or whatever in the two characters we care about, and that should be a thing. I didn't even think that it was
miasma.
Yeah, I think it's just super miasma now.
Yeah, I think it's just Millenniumon.
Yeah.
Which, it's just vague magic LCL, but I'm just I'm assuming we might get more on that. Maybe not.
Hopefully, but yeah, the number of things that Digimon is waiting to tell me until later, that then they sometimes just forget to tell you later. Try. Really gets to be a problem, and I don't know that they need to tell me everything right from the start, but I think Genai or someone showing up long enough to define about 6 words would be really helpful.
Oh, Genai is FAGA.
Yes.
No.
Like, that...
Yeah,
Genai's being replaced by giant stone tablets.
Yeah, I think Genai has been replaced by, stone tablets and also Google. The Android
good.
tablets. But, yeah, I'm fine with him being replaced because it's something new. But also, it's, if we just had, a shot just for, a small Easter egg, just do something that, as a tiny Easter egg involved Genai is somehow Google now. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think that we will, but in any event, I believe that this episode highlights how many episodes were just kind of pretending had interesting things happening, where they did sort of vaguely come up with some ideas, but they didn't execute on them very well.
Yeah. The fact that we know this season can be better than okay shows us that really there was some terrible episodes this season.
Yeah.
Well, terrible in our opinions. Episodes that we didn't enjoy, and then there's episodes that we really do enjoy, and then it just sort of highlights that why did those
Remember when Omegamon was
episodes...
an important thing in this show? No? Okay.
Yeah, do you remember how Devimon was just, there, but not even relevant for half, the majority of the cast? We also had the Nidhoggmon battle, which was fine, and then until the episode where they fought Nidhoggmon, and then it was just, we're just doing Omegamon again. Oh, we're doing our war game again. Okay, all right. Cool.
Yeah, and now we're on our 4th iteration of our war game, but bigger.
Yeah, I'm done with doing... I mean, I love our war game. It's, my favourite, but, let it die, please.
You've made our war game
so
now
3
separate times. Let it die. Plus there was Cyberspoof.
Yeah,
You've made our war game.
Done.
Please make a second movie.
Yeah, please. Just... It's whenever everyone references the book 1984, it's just please read another book.
Spend less on
candles. Please watch a different Digimon movie. Yeah, just there are so many other ways we can do, someone just saw the movie War Game and was just let's just do this a lot in Digimon. And it works, yes, but just, you can go other ways, I'm sure.
We should throw out that they did mention an additional continent.
Yeah.
What was it, the Eternus continent, something like that.
Wait, isn't that the one that Lotmon mentioned? 2 episodes ago?
Yeah, if it was, I missed it, but that's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, it is nice to... I think it was sort of vaguely mentioned as sort of, is this a place that exists? Is this theoretically? Now we know it's an actual place.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Any more lowlights?
No, what is Yamato off doing?
Yeah.
Yamato just going through a desert. I'm kind of glad that we're not having Yamato being
and he went through the desert
main thing in the
on
plot.
A wolf with no name. Felt good. Okay.
It's kind of edgy.
Wolf has a name.
He's having an edgy lone wolf moment. I'm happy for him. He's fine. And also isn't doing much plot, which is fine. It's nice to see Yamato not be involved in direct plot.
Yeah, but it does kind of feel like Yamato's finally stepped out the limelight, so now it's just a Taichi show.
But
It's
at
true.
least we have some Sora.
We're doing something with
Sora
people
rescuing
who
him.
have light giving power to their siblings, and that, I think, is a thing we have played out a few too many times in Digimon.
Yeah. There's definitely places that could be better to go, but I'm still I'm easily pleased. Okay, Yamato can go through the desert being an edgelord. It's fine. I'm happy for him. Let him live his best life.
Remember when we were excited for Yamato showing up?
Yeah, because he seemed he still seems like he could have something.
He
some
could.
interesting
I just
character.
sure wish that this show cared at all to tell me about his parents. Wow, you've been teasing that sorta for 30 episodes.
Yeah, I barely remember how Takeru and Yamato became reunited. I feel like it was very quick.
It went something like
we
this.
shouted at each other.
Oni-chan!
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's right, I forgot.
Yeah,
I
he
forgot
literally
about that
just
whole thing.
showed up in the digital world and was kidnapped.
He was just in a tube.
Yeah, he was called
Yeah.
to the digital world, I guess, by Angemon, and wound up in a tube of LCL.
Yeah. Which is
Wait,
the thing.
this whole
It's
arc with
fine.
Telmon could have just been the same thing, but with Patamon and Devamon.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they
was.
just didn't do it.
It's sort of the same, but it's different enough that I'm...
Yeah, this
what
is the child that Millennium Mon chose. Could have been any of them, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just happy that there's a character that
Yeah.
Hikari has,
Maybe.
and she's not as light on character as she used to be. Are we ready to pick our favourite characters?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm picking Hikari, which apparently this is for the second time I'm picking Hikari. I also chose her when she showed up in the digital world because I was just happy that there was some reuniting. I was just like, oh, Hikari's my favourite on the basis that everyone's together now. So I'm picking Hikari again because, like, she was a character and she deserves to be chosen. And I'm not sure if we're just going to forget that she has a character after this, so I'm not sure if I'll ever pick her again. So I'm picking Hikari. Evie, who are we picking?
I'm still thinking on it. Let Quinn go first.
Yeah, I
Quinn?
was also still thinking on it, but I guess I'm gonna go with Koshiro.
That's fine. I think we've all picked Koshiro like a very lot. Apparently, I've only picked Koshiro once, which is very surprising. That's incredibly surprising. I love Koshiro. I think it's because Koshiro is like my fallback, and I feel bad for picking him. I don't know. You've picked Quinn. You've picked Koshiro like 5 times now.
Yeah, because in
Which is
many cases,
reasonable.
even in this episode that I really, didn't hate, like, the best part was still Koshiro just doing the Digimon Analyzer.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah. The analyzer's always the. I mean,
It's
once
typically
you
a
just picked
high
the Digimon
part.
Encyclopedia.
yeah, and
Because I think in that episode you were so like annoyed with the episode, you were just like, even Koshiro couldn't save this, so
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Digimon Encyclopedia. So that was a thing.
yeah,
But yeah, Koshiro is a valid
this
pick.
didn't
Always-
feel
always
bad
valid.
enough for me to pick an inanimate concept here, but it definitely did leave a taste of, wow, I wish this had been about twice as good as it was.
Yeah. Evie, have you decided?
Um,
I'm surprised you haven't just picked Patamon before Pegasusmon happened. Honestly.
I was considering it, not gonna lie.
It's a valid choice. Patamon was there and Pegasusmon was there, and they did look cool. And
They
Takeru
did look
also looked very
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just
Like-
give it to
like
Palmon.
the-
Sure.
That's fair. That is fair. Which means that, like, how many... that's the second time you picked Patamon, the 5th time Quinn's picked Koshiro, and the second time I picked Hikari.
You know, I'm
Which
trying
is, yeah,
not to always pick Mimi,
Yep.
but because I was tempted by Mimi,
Yeah,
but
me
Mimi
too.
just didn't have enough this episode to justify that.
Yeah. I've only picked Mimi 3 times. The first time was her episode, the second time was also her episode, and then was another time. Episode 27. What episode
That was
episode
just one of the bad
27?
ones where we got like 10 seconds of Mimi.
Oh, no, that was To a New Continent, which is just like, I think Mimi just sort of showed up, and I was like, yep, Mimi.
Yep.
So I'm very... I think there was no other choice, so it was Mimi. So yeah. So that's our favourite characters. So now we'll give a rating. Once again, I'm fairly certain I gave this episode a lot higher than it deserved. I was just really happy that this episode wasn't as bad as I was worried about. So in that way, it just surpassed expectations on the basis that my expectations were so low. I was like, this is going to get like a low mark. But no, I gave it a high mark, probably too high that everyone will disagree with me, but I really liked this episode, so don't at me. I'm giving it a 5. Not a 5 like last week. It's on the low end of all the 5s I've given. In my overall ranking, it sits like at below all the other 5s. So it goes episode 32, episode 12, episode 14, episode 15, episode 6, then episode 33.
How have
So
you
it's at the
given so
bottom
many
end of my
fives?
Because there were a lot of Mimi episodes, okay? And I really like Mimi. But anyway, and also I'm easily pleased. That's like the 10th time I've said it, but it's very true. So yeah, episode 33 is a 5. It's the lowest 5 that I've given. But I just really enjoyed it. I was surprised that we actually gave Hikari a character. I am looking forward to more Digimon, but I'm still a little bit nervous that we can just completely just say, okay, 2 good episodes, time for badness, which is what we've seen in our ratings so far. It's just like, oh, we've got some good episodes, and then we go 2, 3s, and 3s, and 4s, and at the very least, but then 2s. But yeah, so I'm worried that we're going to just fall off again. But I'm going to give it a 5 because I like this episode. It did everything that it could do. And all the negatives that I have are negatives for the season overall. Nothing that the episode itself had an issue with. And that's me, probably, again, being too easily pleased by this episode. It was fine. Evie and Quinn, you are now free to tell me what if I'm wrong. Evie, do you know what you're going to give this episode?
I'm going to give it a 3.
That's fair. And Quinn?
Yeah, I'm going a 3.5. My expectations were pretty low, and it met them, which is fine. That's a C. I'd pass that student.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd give him a side eye.
If Hikari had less of a character, I would have definitely given a 3, I think. And for a long time, I was like, this is probably a 3.5 or a 4. But then at the end of the episode, like, oh, whatever, 5. Life is short. But yes, those are valid options. That gives us an overall score of 11.5, which means we are only tied with one episode, and that was episode 31, which was A New Darkness Millenniumon. So that was just the plot episode. So for our overall ranking, do we think that this episode is better or worse than episode 31?
I've put it better.
Yeah, I agree better,
I guess,
Quinn.
I would have probably said worse, but I'm not that picky about it.
Okay, so we're all happy with it being better than episode 31, which means this episode is in 10th place. So that's good. We're finally getting things in the top 10. So I'm happy. I'm happy for it. So next we'll do our ranking. Where are we putting this episode, Evie, in your ranking?
Put it right below Wargame, episode 2.
Yep, sure. So that is in
15th
place.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I think that's fair. Like, it definitely deserves to be in the upper middle, at least. So I'm happy with that. And Quinn, where are we putting episode 33?
I'm gonna put it between episode 1 and 8, I think. Upper middle.
Yep. So, episode 33. So that is in your 10th place.
Yeah.
So basically lining up with the overall ranking for this episode. So that's cool. And now we'll move on to questions. So first of all, we have Gleaming Gamor, who says that she has thoughts from watching this episode, and she left it on the last episode, which is fine. So, positive first, Hikari said words, which I think was all our positives as well, and we started to at least understand a little of what was going on. While Greymon's evolution sequence is pretty as ever, Takeru and Patamon evolving regularly instead of being random win button that appears 3 times in the whole show, which is something I mentioned as well, it's great. But on the other side of the coin, they were straight up bored in parts of this episode. They were upset when they realised there wasn't enough time in the episode for anyone to explain what happened to Tailmon, and they sincerely do not expect an explanation next episode, and that worries them, which is fair. I'm also worried that we won't get any explanation about that. I hope that we do, but I've been wrong before. Then they say it's one of their favourite things in media when characters delve into extremely non-literal versions of each other's subconsciousness, like in Evangelion episode 25 to 26, and yeah, I got that impression too. And they thought that was what was going on, but it turns out there were straight up physical corridors inside Dark Knightmon. Was he a jail the whole time? Did Dark Knightmon have anything to do with Tailmon? They just don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely Tailmon was either like Vord or was Dark Knightmon or was sent to like gay fur baby jail or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's fair.
Pumpkinmon.
That was a combination of words.
There. We just didn't see them.
Oh yeah, I remember that in the dub. They were like, "Oh, we're not killing you. We're sending you to Myotismon's dungeon in the digital world."
Yep, he sent them
Whoops.
to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, basically. Devon Rose says that when Pegasusmon did their rodeo gallop, it would have been nice to see TK be even a little bit dizzy, and yeah, I completely agree. And then they said how when Garudamon just knee drops Cerberusmon's head, they laughed, and yeah, I'm enjoying Garudamon battling. Like that's nice.
Garudamon is pretty good. I do wish Sora mattered at all to this story, but at least she gets to be there this time.
Yeah. Next, because I scrolled, I missed it. Yeah, there we are. Next we have Anthony who says that they love that Pegasusmon is here, and the idea that Pegasusmon can't be Angemon again, and that he can't be what he was before. It is actually kind of meaningful, and it's affected by time and loss of everything, hope in the wake of heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony says that you can tell it's a good episode because the characters actually have character in this one, and I would agree. They also say that they also feel like this may be the first time the anime's actually had a good branching evolution, not malicious mistakes like Skull Greymon, Megadramon, Machine Dramon. And yeah, I think that's, I guess outside of 02 and Frontier when that was kind of like their thing. But yeah, I think that, yeah, it's nice to see branching evolution paths not necessarily always being evil. So I'm here for that. Then we have Child Emperor who asks what is up with Izzy's footwear. Is Izzy wearing blue shoes with brown straps, or he's wearing blue socks and sandals? I think it's blue socks and sandals,
It's gotta be
right?
socks and sandals. He's...
Yeah.
Look,
and
just give
Child Emperor
Koshiro a
says,
while. After the awkward teen years, she'll transition, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like that. Like, yeah, he clearly dresses himself. He's wearing socks and sandals, but I kind of like it. It must be comfortable. Child Emperor then finishes off to say that regardless, they think that Izzy's original Lightning Bolt sneakers were the coolest. Yeah, I really like their sneakers. I want a pair. Next, they said that they thought that Soaring Hope... Blacklight John said they thought that the episode was Soaring Hope, referring to Angemon and not Pegasusmon, because they only remember the dub phrase, which is Flying Hope.
Yeah.
So that they just believed it was just Angemon again. So which is nice. That would have been a nice surprise, I hope, unless you don't like Pegasusmon. Next we have Dash Speed, who says that they're hoping that the writers make it so Dark Knightmon and Dark Mailmon are both corrupted by the Moon Millenniummon, so they get Tailmon and Wizardmon, which... I guess we're not doing that, but that would have been cool. Then we have the Bleach J16, and they say that they're really enjoying the podcast, despite the fact that they pieced out of the show at episode 24, and they're glad the show is embracing different evolution methods. Yeah, I think a lot of people just sort of gave up on this show, which is kind of
if
like...
If it weren't for the podcast, I very well might have.
I don't think I would have, but I feel like I probably wouldn't be watching it right on release every week. I think I might...
I'd have probably binged it,
sort of like,
and I think probably liked it better.
Yeah, well, I've heard it's better binged, so maybe that, like, I should find someone who just binges the whole season and just, like, see what they think about it. I want to get different, like, subsets of people, like, and how they experience this season and how they enjoyed it, because I feel like there must be a way that's better. Maybe not week to week. But yeah, so I think a lot of people gave up on this season or are waiting for it to finish so they can just binge it or just skip episodes that are bad, which is fair. So yeah, I'm also glad that we're actually finally embracing different evolution methods and like branching evolutions. That's nice. So then we have Sam Davis, who says that they really appreciate the podcast and the information that we all talk about. They love Digimon and that they believe everyone is going to get their megaforms in this reboot. And yeah, I think so too. And I'm really hopeful about that because I like Rosemon, I like Vikemon, I like how we get to see them. It'd be nice. And I think that's one of the things I liked about Tri is that we finally got them to evolve to their megaforms. Next we have Glam, who's not sure where the show's going to go. They don't know where the writers are going to take this, and they're wondering if they've decided to go full on with Pegasusmon. They may very well make up new Ultimate and Mega forms for him. If not, then somehow Patamon will gain his former strength back. They've teased Magna Angemon and Holy Angemon and Seraphimon so much it's hard to see them not giving them to us. Also, just a side thing, from me, not from Glam, I will go back to Glam's comment in a second. I would really like if we got Godramon as well, because that is actually debuted a little bit before Seraphimon as Patamon's fully evolved form, and it's like a masculine yellow version of Holy Dramon, so I hope, I don't think that we'll get that, but I hope. That'd be nice. Anyway, so... Glam continues to say, as for where this leaves Gatomon and Tailmon, they don't think that we'll see Nefertimon unless they decide to make Tailmon a rookie-level Digimon now, which they don't think is likely, and it's also repeating Patamon's storyline. Then they say that they don't think they're getting any more alternate modes than maybe the exception of Magnadramon. This show is heavily Tai, Hikari, Matt, TK-centric, and they're just going to be the ones to get the special stuff. Plus, we still have a fair amount of evolutions to go before we end. 2 champions, if when Angemon comes back, 2 ultimates, all but one of the megas, and legitimately, and maybe an evolution of Omegamon. So that can happen. I would like us to have more alternate modes. That'd be cool. Then we have VVV, who says that they hope it's not Skull Knightmon. It would be such a waste. They really like him, and they hope they give him an evolution. I think that, like, it's still not really said if it's actually Tailmon was Dark Knightmon, or was just in, like,
Either
jail.
way,
I don't know.
We're not getting anything more interesting out of that character again.
No. Yeah, he's dead, Jim. Next, we have Prince Adam, who says that they completely agree the last episode was a 5 out of 5. They're totally on board with Pegasusmon being a way to dilute Angemon in such an action evolution heavy series to keep Takeru on board, and they say to keep up the great work.
Well, thank you.
Next we have, yes, and thank you. I'm glad that, like, we didn't have anyone come back from the people who didn't like the episode that did like episode 30 when we didn't. Like, I still really want them to come back, because I do want to know what they really liked about that. Like, I hope we didn't just turn them off the podcast completely. But anyway, Annabelle says they don't understand why Sora is completely being attacked in Digimon, like it would hurt. And I'm just like, well, I'm glad that she's kind of being hurt, which is like, I'm glad the characters are showing that they can get hurt. I wish Taichi would show that more.
I wish Taichi could literally get hurt from falling 400 feet.
Yeah, fair. Oh, yeah. And then Annabelle says that they were someone who did not know about Pegasusmon, and it was an exciting thing to watch. And honestly, that they wish that they would keep this evolution instead of Angemon, mainly because they prefer the animal-looking Digimon over humanoid. But this has been great so far. Next, Sleek Emu says, finally plot. Let's hope it continues with this, and that they hope that Koshiro does something better than just exposition, and maybe he will. Maybe he'll go blow up the Russian satellite. And then they say that Koshiro is slowly getting annoying, how they just explain the situation in the real world, and they just want to have them just being in the digital world, which is it's fine. Next, we have Seth, who says that now that Pegasusmon is natural champion, they want the whole line him to have an ultimate and a mega, which I don't think we're going to have, but if we have Godramon, it would make sense for Pegasusmon to evolve into Godramon.
Yeah. Or I guess there's the X evolution. Maybe we'll get a mode change.
Maybe. And my dog is looking at me, and he's in the middle of the doorway just staring at me, telling me go to bed, but we are almost done. So Langley, please show some patience, but I'm happy that you stopped barking. That was nice. I really appreciated that. Anyway, next we have CJ, who said they love the series, and Patamon's existence always hits them in the feels. Nevertheless, it was an awesome surprise to hear be the winners again and get a new evolution. They loved the teamwork between Sora and Tai, Agumon and Biyomon. And so they wanted to also say that if we have a Fanimon, Garumon, Serafimon, Patamon, Shruvimon, Lopmon, and Racielmon, Mekumon, that leaves other three from the silhouettes that we saw. And we have Valdoramon, who's the bird, being Hawkmon, Slash Angemon being Vmon, and Clavis Angemon being Armadillomon, which I didn't think about that, but I feel like they all fit except for maybe Vmon. I feel like Vmon's a little... I guess it's kind of blue, but I actually didn't think about that, but I adore that so much. Next, we have so many comments this week. Next we have Ritza, who says, what did you guys think of this? The last ending picture with Takeru hugging Patamon was the most precious thing in the show so far. They're excited to see Pegasusmon evolution, but as soon as the TK and Pegasusmon started spinning, they immediately pictured TK holding on for dear life, trying not to barf. I also pictured that, and yeah, I love the last ending picture with that pencil crayon coloring and drawing. Like I think we mentioned that as like sort of like a highlight last week, that was just really nice to see.
Yeah.
And then finally, our last message is from Kill It With Fire, who says they like Pegasusmon's design more than Angemon's, so they'll be fine if that's just the default champion form for Patamon and Angemon's only for special occasions. And the last episode was a breath of fresh air in many ways.
Evie can have little Angemon as a treat.
Yeah, just as a treat, we can have a little Angemon.
I don't care for Angemon that much.
I like Pegasusmon more. Like, I think a lot of... I agree with a lot of these commenters who are just like, yeah, Pegasusmon's better. And yeah, Pegasusmon looks good. Looks like Patamon. Looks like Godramon. I'm fine with Pegasusmon. But also, I like 02.
02 was pretty okay at times.
Yeah. And then, so Kill It With Fire finishes off to say that it's starting to feel a little weird that Koshiro keeps talking about the ISS falling down and taking the whole country with it, and no one other than Koshiro seems to really care.
That's very true.
I think everyone cares. I feel like they're just sort of saying, Koshiro will handle it. Which
I mean,
is
that
valid.
is kind of what they're doing, but it's still really dissonant that just Koshiro goes, oh, by the way, so that's still happening, and people just go, oh, okay.
Yeah. And then they say that as much as they love Mimi's Fight Club, it's hard to sell them on the stakes when that's Mimi's priority. Oh, it's Mimi. Come on. She's always been on a different planet. It's fine. And then Kill It With Fire finishes off with probably the best thing I've ever read in my entire life, which is, I can't remember the last time I saw Joe with pants on, and that is extremely valid because how long has it been since we've seen him with Dax on? Like, you just, where are his pants? Like, you just... Why? I mean, okay, that's fine. I mean, he's in an onsen, but that's a very good point.
He should be so wrinkly.
He's going to be like a prune. He's going to come out and he's going to be like... He's Jedi. He's just going to come out and looking like old Jedi. Alright everyone, so thank you for joining us this time. Next time, we'll be covering Digimon Adventure episode 34, Hikari and Tailmon. Do we have any predictions? Because I'm just like, please be good, please be good, please be good.
Yeah, please be good. I don't... This was enough of a slip in quality that I'm concerned. Which is unfortunate, but what do you do?
Yeah, like, well, yeah, what can you do? I mean, I'm hoping that, like, it only gets better from here. Like, I'm hoping that we don't just...
There are some hopeful signs, but
yeah,
we sure have to...
nervous.
Yeah, we're having to deal with a whole lot of... just baggage of stuff that they kind of tried to show us that they want to insist was well foreshadowed, but really was not well done.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was an okay episode.
I'm just happy that we have Skull Nightmon, and for the Hikari actually had reason to be allowed to be kidnapped because she was like, well, it's calling me.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I'm just happy for that. Like, I have no predictions going on. I just feel like I have things I would like to see. Like, I would like there to be, like, how'd Tailmon get there? What actually happened? Do we get any explanation there? Like, it doesn't have to be much. Like, you can just sort of give me 5 minutes of exposition. That's fine. I'll be happy with that. I'm not really expecting much, but it would be nice. I think...
LostinTranslationmon. Tagline. Not expecting much.
Yeah, not expecting much. I would like there to be, if we're not going to have explanation, I hope the next time's just, like, somewhat filler of just the characters, wondering what to do next. Or just doing something. Like, I hope that it's, like...
I definitely think it's time for some kind of exposition dump from Hikari.
Yeah, just, like, do something. Just anything that's... You don't have to do plot. But exposition could come and it'd be fine, but it would be nice to have some downtime.
Yeah.
But
yeah, a Mimi episode would be really helpful.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting Mimi from an episode called Hikari and Tailmon.
No, but a Mimi episode would be nice. You know, soonish.
Oh yeah. Any other predictions?
I think it's just going to be another, like, if it's same quality as the Pegasusmon Digivolution episode, it'll be great. If it's not like that, it'll be more like the Falling from the Sky episode, where it's just kind of...
Oh, no, I don't want Falling from the Sky.
Please don't be Falling from the Sky.
I'm going to predict that I'm going to give this next episode a 3.
That's probably about right.
Which is like that. I mean, I think that if you ask me every week, that'll probably be my prediction. Like, I think it's going to be a 3. Like, that's like my prediction because a 3... When I watch an episode, it starts as a 3, and then it moves on from that 3. So that's just me saying that, like, a 3 to me is an okay episode. Like, I know 2.5 is a pass, but 3 is just like, it was okay. Like, yeah. I don't have many comments, like, if it's a 3. Like, the 3 is like, oh, it happened.
Yep.
That's why I gave, like, the War Greymon episode a 3, because it was just like, it happened. Alright, cool. There were bits that, like, weren't terrible, but there were bits that also were terrible, so it was fine. But, yeah, do we have any other predictions, or can we finish off? Because
I predict I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah, I'm going to predict I'm going to go to bed immediately after this because it's almost 11 p.m. and I have work tomorrow. But I don't have to get up at 7 a.m. for a podcast, so you know, silver linings, I guess.
I predict that next week I hopefully won't have a headache.
That would be good.
That'd be really good.
Alright.
But yeah, so I guess I will try my luck at reading the outro when it's not like 8 a.m. in the morning. Maybe 8 a.m. in the morning. That's redundant. 8 in the morning. There we are. I've already mucked up. I'll see if I do the outro though. So link dumps, link description, and our Redbubbles also link there too. You can get more than just shirts there too, like masks or pillowcases or mugs. I don't know, it's winter in places in the world, so you can probably get a mug. You can get a water bottle if you're in a warmer place in the world. I don't know, get something. Get yourself something nice there, champ. You can also contact us and stay updated We have an email address, LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, but we get lots of spam, so sometimes you might just go to spam. I'm sorry for that. But we're very responsive on Twitter and YouTube, where we read out the questions and comments in the discussion portion in Postmon Pat, which is now merged into the discussions point. Anyway, so you can also comment on this episode or message on our website, LostinTranslationmon.com. And you can also check out our release schedule there too, but I don't really update that much because it's a weekly release anyway. And you can also read our blog posts. I post a lot about virtual pets and a lot about other things too. I do reviews of the show there too, which you can read before I do the podcast and see if my opinions change, because sometimes they do. Anyway, I'm done rambling. Let's continue. You can also follow us at TranslationMon on Twitter, and you can find us on LostinTranslationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where I also upload a lot of videos about virtual pets primarily, but also other things. And this podcast, you may be also listening to this on YouTube, and if you are, hello. If you're not, also hello. Anyway, we also have a discussion thread on With the Will, and one on the Digimon subreddit. We'd also appreciate any reviews on Apple Podcasts and any other podcast listening app that you use if they accept reviews, and we'll read them out, so that'll be fun. And you can also donate to our Patreon. That's in the description as well, from as little as $1 a month, and that gets you access to a listener Discord server, but there are higher levels like access to our wonderful unedited versions where I just ramble forever and somebody will stop me at some point, I'm sure.
I mean, I try, and then usually it doesn't work.
Yeah, sometimes people try, and sometimes it just gets worse from that.
Yeah.
Like, there's only two ways you can go from a ramble. Ramble, or off the ramble, but often ramble. Anyway, so thank you to our existing supporters on Patreon, Joe, Stephen Reeves, who's 164 and archive our own, Kaidawashi, who's Chisai236, wow, I just mucked that up. Chisai, who you can follow on Twitter at I was doing so well.
You were doing so well.
Chisai, who you can follow on Twitter at Chisai236. Kyle, Lismet, who's a Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Mona Maimon, Sam, Anthony, Keith from Gone While Hunting, a Hunter x Hunter rewatch podcast, Silverhead Freak 25, Magnus, Lucas, Blindman, Japhus, and Patrick. Oh, so close to doing that.
You know what?
Anyway,
it was good enough.
It was good enough, but it was not as good as last time, but, I mean, sometimes you can just... So maybe my outro reads are only as good as the episode of Digimon. I don't know. Maybe. I'm seeing a trend. Anyway, so if Patreon's not your style, you can also make a one-off donation on PayPal, which can be found in the description. It's paypal.me/airdramon, or you can donate to my Ko-fi account, ko-fi.com/airdra. And, of course, thank you to Quinn and Evie for joining me. Quinn, where can we find you?
I guess I'm back on the Twitters, at least for the time being, so you can follow me at RealYubico. And I'm also on that other podcast. Evie, what is that podcast?
Moncast.
That podcast is the Moncast.
Spoilers, I said it.
Ah.
Yay. Which we recorded this morning.
Yep.
My time. So I've done so much recording today.
It's like getting reverse spoilers for our colon coverage.
Yeah, like, I started my morning. I woke up and I went straight to record with y'all, and then the first thing I did before bed is I'm also recording with y'all. It's a bookend. But yeah, so you can find us on the Moncast. It's good fun. We talk about Pokemon and Digimon. At the moment, we are covering Tamers and Pokemon Advanced. Pokemon is having a rough time being held up against Tamers.
Yep.
Spoilers.
We're looking into it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing it. So come, if you want to continue listening to us talk about other things, you can hop over and listen to the Moncast as well. So yes, of course, thank y'all for joining me, and thank y'all for listening to us talk about Digimon, and we will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!
Bye!
I still wave. I don't know why I wave. It's an audio thing, but yeah, bye.
Bye.